Hi there. So I'm back, and today I am talking about another attachment style, and I am talking about the opposite of the secure attachment style. So when you say something is secure, what is the opposite of secure? Tell me in the comment section. If something is secure, what is the opposite of secure? If something is security, what is the opposite of security? Okay, or secure. What is the opposite of something being secure? If something is secure, the opposite is, say that in the comment section. So the opposite of secure is insecure. So when someone is insecure, we'll say that the person has insecure attachment style. What can make someone develop insecure attachment style? It still boils down to parenting, right? It boils down to parenting. How were you raised? Okay, how were you raised? Were you raised to feel, were you raised in a family where you were constantly invalidated? Were you raised in a home where not, if you say something, everybody will say, keep quiet, what do you know? If, for instance, you are left-handed like me, were you raised in a home where if you're trying to even do anything with your left hand, everyone begins to scream and shout at you? That may make you feel insecure because you are raised to believe that you're not good enough, that you can't get things done, that you're not smart, and your mistakes were seen as evils, like you were always condemned for mistakes, and you were made to feel that if you make a mistake, then you're not a good person. That means that you were raised to develop, you were raised in a family or with a parenting style that has caused you to develop insecure attachment style. And so the insecure attachment style happens when a caregiver is unstable. I mean, when you have an unstable caregiver, they are not available, they are not there to care for you. So for instance, I'll tell you a little bit about my childhood again, because this is the basis for my personal story or lived experience. Is something that will help me drive home the points that I am making in the different points that I'm trying to set past, to put across to you in these different series. So the very first thing I wish to talk to you about is what happened in my relationship with, like growing up. Typically my childhood was that where, at least when I grew up to know I was now growing up, where were we living? We were living in Niger State. And I remember that, yes, at that time, before we moved to Niger State, we were living in, well, before we moved to Minna, we were living in Bida. In Bida, I had a class teacher who would say terrible things about me. I had a mother who was not really available. I had a grandmother who was also dismissive, who would just say things to me anyhow, especially because I'm even left-handed and I can't stubborn join. Like I was even tough, okay? Well, they made me tough because of the way they parented me. So the primary caregivers in my life were those who were dismissive. They were not really available. They were more about trying to meet needs than caring for a child. I'm not saying that parents should not try to meet the needs of their children, but there's a way to actually balance this so that the children will not suffer, okay? So that a child does not suffer. So what I'm passing to you, or what I'm saying to you in essence, is because I was raised in a family where, I had an unstable primary caregiver or caregivers who sometimes would just get angry, would just, capitalize on my mistakes. I grew up feeling insecure and thinking that if I make mistake, people will not like me. If I don't do things that people want me to do, they would reject me. So I was crying for validation. I was crying for acceptance, okay? And so people like us, because of the insecure parenting style, you are most likely going to be a victim of sexual abuse because you were raised to keep quiet. Because if you challenge people, especially because you were not raised to speak up, you were not raised to feel loved, If a stranger is expressing love to you, even if it is a wrong kind of love, you are not likely going to reject it because you did not have that feeling. So for instance, my mother was not always available. So it's either she was traveling to one city to do business or to another city to do business. This is the typical African woman style. You know what I'm talking about. And many of our parents are like this. Myself, if not because of the fact that I'm now aware, I am healing and taking care of myself in preparation for the arrival of my kids, okay? And so what I'm telling you in essence is these parents that these primary caregivers many times are not even aware, and they can only give what they have, okay? So because they were also parented that way, they most likely would parent their children that way, except they become aware. And so this is not a session or a series to cast blame or to make someone look bad and make another person look good. This is mainly to just educate you, to open your eyes of understanding so you do not recreate a pattern from your childhood. Does that make sense? Drop a comment and let me know. And so what I'm teaching you today is attachment style. The insecure attachment style is something that a parent may pass to you, okay? And you may end up attracting, you know, an insecure partner if you yourself, you are not secured, okay? Now, let me move on. And another thing that I want you to also understand is, like in my case, because I was raised, I did not have caregivers, or a caregiver was available. When I say caregivers, I talk about my grandmother and my mother and some aunties that were, you know, parents who would sometimes be available when my primary caregiver was not available. So I had a couple of people who were unstable. They were not present. And so I was insecure and I was looking for people to talk to, people to be close to. I mean, if you're a child, there are things that a child should do at a certain age. So if a child misses out of that, the child will long for that company, talk, like, you know, companionship. Those things were lacking in my childhood, and so I was constantly looking for that. And so for someone who already had a void, that is why many people who are victims of child sexual abuse have a void in their lives or in their childhood, or they had parents who were unstable, or they had parents who parented them in an insecure way. And so that would make that child become insecure. Now, if you have a parent who raised you to be confident, that does not mean that you might not be a victim of rape. But what changes in that situation where the parenting style is a secure parenting style is the child can call the mother and say, "Mom, something just happened. A guy just raped me. I don't know what to do." And the mother will say, calm down, I'm coming over. I got you. Don't worry. Everything will be fine. We got this. Don't worry. This is not the end of life. That is what a secure parenting attachment style would make a child do, because you have been raised to feel safe and to be able to confide in people. You would run to your primary caregiver feeling safe to talk about your issues, okay? And that primary caregiver will not be dismissive, will listen to you without judging. But what happens if it is an insecure attachment style? You can't even open up because you are afraid. Hey, meaning, let me translate that. If my mother knows that a guy even touched my private parts, how much more had sex with me? I'm done for. Because you were raised to feel insecure, to not want to disclose, to not want to talk, to not want to open up. And so you will continue to be a victim of that vicious cycle of abuse, because you were raised to not speak up. You were unconsciously raised to not speak up because of the parenting style, insecure attachment style. Does that make sense to you? If this is really useful, share this video, drop a comment in the comment section, and most importantly, what are you waiting for? donate now, donate, because I need to make 10,000 copies of my book available this year to African communities, and you are the one that will make it become a reality for me. How do you do that? Simply donate at bisolamiriam.com/becomingbm. Just go to bisolamiriam.com/becomingbm to donate. I can't wait to receive your donations, because lives must be changed. Lives must be transformed, and I know you are the one that would make this happen for me. Abundance is here, there is no lack, and God bless you. Thank you so much.